Welcome, Mr. Foster here. Hopefully, if you are watching this video, then you are hoping to set up your Weebly website for National History Day. There's just a few things that we're going to go over to get you started on that. It's a very user-friendly interface, and a lot of the stuff you'll be able to kind of explore and tinker with and kind of discover on your own. But these 4 different items that we're going to go through will at least get you started, where I feel confident that after you do these 4 things, you'll be able to kind of start to piece together a lot of the other things, check with other people in your class, check with your teacher if you can't find it, and if you've already checked with people in your class. You can always Google stuff as far as like how to do something. Weebly has a great help section. So there's other options, but this will at least get you started. So let's take a look at the objectives as far as what we're hoping to accomplish for today. Okay, so for today, what we're hoping to do, guys, first of all, create your page. First step, how do you make your Weebly page? Second step, how do you add pages and tabs? So at the top, they're all pretty standard templates. You can choose different themes and different designs, but the templates all kind of have tabs towards the top. How do you create that? And then you can also have drop downs from those tabs, for example, for your claims for the different categories of your project. So how do you do those drop downs? Adding images. That's an important one as well. And then finally, adding buttons. National History Day requires that at the bottom of each page, you have a button that goes to the next page. So we're just going to briefly go over that as well. Okay, so first off, creating your page. I hope that you are going to be able to hit pause from time to time on this. And what that would require is you just hit pause and then you just create a new tab in your internet browser, whether that's Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. Usually Google Chrome works the best. But you need to be able to go to the NHD Weebly homepage. It is right here, nhd.weebly.com. So at this time, please pause the video, open up a new tab, make sure that you put in this exact website. Please notice it is not weebly.com. If you go to Weebly.com, you'll be able to set up a site, but it's not going to be your National History Day Weebly site. That's something different. And for example, you're not going to be able to create more than 5 pages. And on this National History Day Weebly page, you can create a lot more than 5 pages. So hit pause. When you've got this page up, you can go ahead and hit play. Once you have this, so you can create what your username is, a password you're going to remember. You do need to, it says optional on your email. I would recommend that you do put that email in there, because if you forget your password, that's your one way to be able to get that password back, is to be able to have an email that is an actual email that you check. Otherwise, you're going to have to start over, okay? And then also you're going to put that you are a student, and you do need to click accept the terms of service. And then you can go ahead and sign up. Once you do that, I've already signed up. So for me, I'm just going to put in my login information here. And once you have signed up, it will give you your URL, your website. So let me just put in my username here. Okay. So for me, I am right here, 30907.331.nhd.weebly.com. It's super important, guys, that what I tell my students is that you highlight this and copy it and paste it onto your outline, which is where you guys are getting a lot of your information for your website. But however you set it up, please make sure that you are highlighting that and leaving it somewhere in addition to your username and your password. And that's especially important if you're working in a group. What happens if your group member all of a sudden gets sick and they're out for the rest of the National History Day? I hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, you got to make sure that you have a place where you have all that stuff, okay? Your username, your password, and your URL, okay? This is also the web address that you put into an internet browser if you want to check on the progress of what people can view related to your site. So let's go into Edit Site. It's the orange button right here, Edit Site. Our second objective is to add pages and tabs. Okay, so we're moving on to second objective, adding pages and tabs. In order to do that, you have to site, and it'll look like this. It does take a little bit of time to load, and if you are working in a partner or with more than one person, only one person can edit this at a time. It is not like Google Drive where multiple people can be on it at the same time. You do need to have only one person doing this at a time. Okay, so this is the basic interface. Notice up here, guys, it does have some of your dashboard type activities where these are the basic things that you can do. The help, again, has some good stuff in there. Settings, might want to check that out. Theme is basically like the design of your site. And then this is an important one, pages. So we'll get to that in just a sec. Build. These are the buttons that you're going to use to build stuff. So you can build a title, you can build text, you can put in an image, which we'll get to, etc., etc. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on Pages. Click on Pages. For my students. So if you go to McAuliffe, you need to have your pages set up like this initially. So please make sure that our pages are these pages right here. Title, thesis, historical background, each claim, impact, bibliography, process paper. So that's how we're going to base it off of. Okay. So you go back to your Weebly site here. We are going to go to plus under pages. Make sure you have pages clicked, and you're going to hit that plus. It's almost always going to be a standard page. National History Day doesn't like external pages, so I would not do that unless it's a PDF of your bibliography. But they don't like links to Google Docs and things like that. So please make sure that anytime that you're creating a new page, you just hit standard page. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the one that's called thesis. Oops. Thesis, intro and thesis. Okay. You're going to hit done. And then what would you know? Intro and thesis. We're going to click another one. Standard page. That's going to be called claims. Depending on who you are, what you're doing, you might be able to get a little bit more creative than this. And then we're going to create another one that is the title of each claim. So I'm creating another page, standard page. For right now, I'm just going to call it Claim 1. Claim 1. And then I'm going to create another page, and I'm going to call it standard page, Claim 2. Hit done. And then we need to have one that's called the impact. Going to make another one, standard page, short-term impact. Create another one, standard page, long-term impact. And then another one, standard page, bibliography. Some people would call that works cited. If you're not going to competition, you'd probably just call that works cited. Another one, standard page, process paper. Okay, so go ahead and take a look up here at what has appeared for me. The only thing I want to point out is that it has a limit, so it can only go across so much, and then it has this thing called more, which for me, it's just bibliography and process paper, which is fine, okay? And we might even adjust that a little bit later. So we have created the pages. If you want to change your site to whatever the title of your project is, super easy. You just highlight it and change it. Okay, so I'm just going to put like taking a stand with NHD, right? So that's pretty generic. I hope you have a topic that actually is something related to National History Day that's a little bit more narrowly focused, right? Okay, so far we have created your page. So far we have added pages. If you have not done both of those things at this time, please hit pause. Please cruise on over to your Weebly page. Please make sure that you are creating your pages and they resemble this, or if you don't go to McAuliffe, then they resemble something that your teacher has specified or that fits with your project, okay? So our next step is to be able to create drop-down tabs, okay? So pretty easy here, and this is one reason why I love the interface of Weebly with National History Day. Let's say that you'd like to group all of your claims together. So it says claims, and then it says claim 1 and claim 2. Kind of confusing, right? Well, check this out, guys. I'm going to hover over it until those 4 arrows appears, and then I'm just going to hold my mouse down and just put it a little bit over to the side, over to the right. See how it's a little bit over to the right versus the claims? Well, check it out. So now I hover over here. I've got claims, and then it drops down to claim number 1. Okay. And then check this out. I'm going to do the same thing with claim number 2 so that claim number 1 and claim number 2 are equal. And then I've got claims, claim 1, claim 2. Okay. So let's say for whatever reason that I'd like claim 2 to be inside of claim 1, you can continue to drag it in. So you have claims, claim 1, claim 2, but that's not what we want to do right now. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that they're equal over here, drag it back so it's equal. So you can do that. Okay. All right. So you can also do that with your impact. So for my students, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make sure that you have your impact page, and then we're going to do short-term impact. We're going to do long-term impact. Therefore, you've got impact, short-term, long-term. All right. Good. So far, we've been able to go all the way through here, 2A. We've created our page, we've added pages and tabs, and we've created drop-down tabs. Adding images, okay? Let's say that my project relates to the Revolutionary War, and I'd like to have as my main background on that title image, I'd like to have like a United States flag or like a revolutionary flag. Okay, so I'm going to put into my Google. I'm going to go revolutionary flag 1776. I'm going to go to my Google Images. I am going to find, needs to be a good background here. Looks like this might be a good one. Depending on who you've got, where you go, if you go to McAuliffe, you're going to definitely want to check the CARS method of making sure that this is a trustworthy source, that this actually is in fact the flag. And actually it says Betsy Ross grunge flag. So that's kind of, I think it's just grunge because of the design. So I think that would still work. But if this were actually going to be the one that I'd use, I'd need to follow up a little bit on the actual web page. But in order to add in, let's say I did that and I made sure it was reliable, I'm going to view the image. And then check this URL out up here. Do you guys notice how it ends in PNG? In order to be able to work with Weebly, I believe it needs to end with JPG when you click on View Image. But let's try it. So I'm going to copy the URL. I'm going to go to my Weebly. I'm going to go to my home page. I'm going to go back to build here. So you do need to go over to build. I'm going to add an image. Okay. So you just drag and drop with that image, and then you're going to click on Upload Image. And then check it out right here, guys. It says image URL. That's what we're looking for. If you've got something on your computer that's a JPEG file, then you can go ahead and upload it from your computer. But at least here at McAuliffe, it's harder for us to be able to save stuff to these Chromebooks. So let's go ahead and just do image URL. I'm going to paste that in using Control+V as in Victor. I'm going to hit Insert. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. So, and from there you can make it bigger, smaller, right? You can go ahead and resize it. You can click on that, and that would allow you to move it or copy it to another page, right? So that's how you add in an image. Remember, guys, you also need to put that into your bibliography. So my recommendation is that you create a running bibliography where, for me, for my students, I'm going to ask that you put in images. You are going to learn in language arts how to do the exact MLA formatting of those images, but for right now, you're just going to paste in the URL, that .png of where you got that image. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller of a font here, so I'm going to hit the minus button to make sure that it's not like taking up my entire, well, maybe a little bigger than that. Okay. And then you're going to put that into MLA format as you go through this, okay? All right, last step here. Last thing we need to do is adding buttons. So if you want to just take a look at this, and then you can always go back to any part of this video to be able to use as a reference. Adding buttons is very important. So for example, I'm going to go to my pages. I'm going to hit this back button right here because it's right on my bibliography and I want to see all of them. I'm going to go into my claims. I'm going to click on that. Oh, I guess I do need to go into build for that. Sorry about that. So we go into build. We're going to go into claims. And you go right over here to, you need to scroll, oh, here it is, buttons. I'm going to put in a button. And then I'm going to put in one more button. So I'm going to drag two buttons in here. Okay. So this claims, this is a send-off page to these two claims. So I'm going to put one, I'm going to put the space as, or put the text as, where is it? I'm going to put the text as claim 1, if it'll let me do it. Okay. So you can just, I don't know why it's got that little box there, but I'm just going to go claim number 1. Okay. Okay. Claim number 1. I need to link. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to link to a page in my website. So it's going to be a standard page. I'm going to find where it says claim 1, and I'm going to make sure that's checked. I don't want to open in a new window, and I'm going to hit the back button. You can change so it's centered. You can make it justify left, justify right, spacing, button style, text, etc. But for right now, we're good. So I want to go over here and do the same thing, except I'm going to call this one claim 2. Number 2, I'm going to link it to a standard page in my website, which is called claim 2. If you need to adjust the settings, font, etc., here's the chance for you to do that. Okay. In claim 2, National History Day says that you need to link to the next thing on your tab. So for that, it would be the impacts, right? So I'm going to go to claim 2, and you actually need to have 2 buttons, one for the previous thing and one for the impact. So just to hold my place here, I'm going to put claim number 2. Hopefully for you, you're putting in exactly what that claim is. I'm going to add 2 buttons. This would be towards the bottom. And then another button. And so we're going to have the previous would be claim number 1. And I want to make sure that I'm linking that up to a standard page that is called claim number 1. And the next is going to be impact, because that's the next thing that shows up here. And I want to link that to my standard page. And I need to find impact. There we go. Okay, so I hope that as a result of this video, you are able to create your page. And it is helpful to go in this order, guys. Create your page, add a page and tabs, creating drop-down tabs, which are essentially new pages, adding those images, adding buttons, and that will give you a good start on getting going with your website. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for working so hard on this project. And please check in with myself or whoever your teacher is if you have any questions. Take care, guys.